Welcome to the team interviews, everybody. We have the Blades with us today.
Hello.
Yeah.
It is I,
hello,
the illustrious Grandmaster Fail.
And Guildmaster Andy.
Try not to get us confused.
Yeah, Fail is the coach, Andy's a longtime supporter. And you guys are ready for...
Season 6.
Yep. You guys ready for some questions?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start this off very nice and slow. Who's on your team?
You want to go, Phil?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it.
Cut you off.
Well, for starters, we've got the poster boys, Sword Trunks and Tapion. And Spamion, the return of the spam. He is back. He was vacationing in Tahiti, and we recently discovered that Minosha was filling in for him for the last 2 seasons. Punitive actions have been administered. Coming up right behind them, we have good old Gajirobe and Jane MBA. It's going to be the bench warmer for, at the very least, the first part of the season. And we have Super 17, the $6 million Rust Bucket, serving as our free agent.
You forgot Cyborg Tao, the man who can lose. He can lose.
The bench warmer.
Off-season proved that.
Cyborg Tao. Well, there seem to be a variety of feelings towards each of your characters, so how about you rank them for us? Your strongest fighter, your weakest fighter, who's in the middle?
I think our number one is a toss-up between Jane and Trunks, but I'm going to go with Jane because he's more consistent.
Alright, what about your weakest?
So Jane Trunks, and then Yajirobe, God himself, obviously he's number 3. Spamion right behind him. He's been spamming, but his average damage hasn't been good this preseason. Because he's missing a lot. And then Super 17, and then Tao at the bottom.
Alright, that's a bit unexpected from my expectations, at least. I wouldn't have thought Tapion would have been lower than Yajirobe and Jane. I guess the off seasons make quite a few differences for them.
Well, Jane is easily our best player. Comes on and does 88k and saves us against the booze. Tapion has not done bad, but he hasn't done great either. I mean, he's spamming. He's absolutely spamming, but he's missing quite a few B2s. Like, I think he's only averaged above 40k once this preseason. But other than that, it's been below 40k, but not by much. Right. And Yajirobe, before we started experimenting in the last 2 weeks, he averaged 52k.
All right, that's rather impressive for him.
Yeah, he's God. His name isn't a lie. He is Gajirobe.
Speaking of all the spamming and improvements in characters like Yajirobe, the off-season did have quite a few changes to it. There was a whole difficulty change
No more Sensubin.
Yeah, there was the difficulty change with AI becoming a little bit more spammy while still retaining that melee effectiveness. And of course, for your team in specific, you had Yajirobe losing his sense of being, only having 1v1 now, and being open to use any AI.
Absolutely. I like this new AI. It's a fine medium between the two. It's really good. Spamming is a thing again.
Yeah.
I love Yajirobe without Sensubin. He doesn't spam his B1s, but if we could make him spam his B1s and still make him the devil on his feet in melee like that he's been the first 4 weeks in off season, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have the highest hopes for Yajirobe going into the off-season and the preseason, but he has definitely...
When that attack plus...
Great.
After a couple really good performances against guys like PyCon in the off-season, I got fully behind our new Lord and Savior. He had gone past all my wildest expectations when he nearly beat PyCon one-on-one.
So, during the off season, you had all these testings for him. How was the process of finding the perfect build for him? Was it just let's test every AI? Since you guys were kind of behind with that.
We started with B1s, and we were going with a B1 gimmick build. Originally, it was which one was we were spiritual control at first.
I think that we went with spiritual control for a while, and then Dragon Spirit we messed with for a little bit.
Then we went to Sparking Plus.
Definitely played with that one for a week or two. And
then we sort of got a build together that sort of reflected what he has a fair. Yajirobe is a bad character. His melee is not that good. He can't fly, and it can leave him a sitting duck sometimes. His B2s are hard to hit with because they're a rush and the Kalam Slicers.
It has no hitbox at melee range.
Yeah. And he takes quite a bit of melee damage, except recently he's been really good about not getting melee combo to death, minus the fight with Cell, but that was an experimental build. So,
and it was Cell.
The build of Kibito's Secret Art, Savior, Light Body, Power of Rage, most of those Pataras give him an edge in an area where he can fight on even grounds. Especially B1 spamming so that he has Power Body on a melee build, basically. He comes in with Savior, he has Power Body until his max power runs out. He uses a B1, he's got Power Body for around 30 seconds. He can throw out an ult, a B2, or he can do what he usually does, which is just tear them apart with his sword. The only gripe I have with him right now is that he's on attack +1 with no other melee supplements.
I'm assuming the Patara spread amongst your team is causing that issue?
Yes.
Sirius is in very short supply.
Yes. Mainly because Jane has this. Well, no, it's not that. It's we could definitely fit Sirius on Yajirobe. It's just the issue of do we want to take off Light Body? Do we want to take off Kibito's Secret Art and upgrade Power of Rage to Dragon Power? Do we want to take off Power of Rage? Then we have
important questions that we need to answer in the very near future.
Yeah.
I see. So, how has this off-season's changes, the AI change, Yajirobe becoming a more mixed build, and changing the Patara spread, how's that affected the rest of the members? Has Trunks and Tapion changed quite a bit, and Jane seems to have changed significantly if he's the top fighter now.
Janemba is kind of interesting. He ended up, by the end of the offseason, at a Fasha build. The old classic defense +2 EL serious Fasha build. When he started with, what did we say it was? The Gotenks boot? No, the Tien build. The defense +3 latent energy EL build. It initially started with taking defense +3 off for defense +2 because we thought he'd enjoy that, more melee damage. Then we tested him with Sirius over latent energy, and he did really good. And then we just sort of stayed course with that. It works really well.
Don't really fix what isn't broken, as they say.
Well, no, we fixed what wasn't broken and made it even better.
It's not really fixing so much as upgrading.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So he does pretty decent melee damage. His melee damage is 320 or 340, something like that.
He is a.
Yep. He's equal, or if not just a little below Gohan Buu.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's about a Buu level fighter. So.
Yeah, really good.
All right, let's move.
And then meanwhile, we have Cyborg Tao. Change was not nice to in the slightest. Really unfortunate to see him down on his luck like he is.
What exactly has caused that issue? Is it a lack of B2s thrown, too many B2s thrown, just not connecting, or too many? You want him to be more melee oriented?
Absolutely. Him on an attack +2 series QFA build, when it works like it did against a couple of our off-season tests against the Boos, that's the Cyborg Tao I want. I love that Cyborg Tao. He has one of the, if not the best melee kit in the league, period. After Image Strike and False Courage combined with really fast melee is on his aid game unstoppable. More so than Nam. Nam doesn't have After Image Strike or False Courage. He doesn't have one of the two. I can't remember.
He has
After Image, but that's it.
Yeah,
just normal After Image.
Yeah, it's a one stock, which is what makes him so dangerous. One of the reasons.
Yeah, but his melee's faster than Nom's. His after-image strike makes it impossible to hit him because it happens multiple times, and he has false courage to give him power body, and it's not the bad one either. I love that melee kit, and I think it's the best melee kit in the league, and he just doesn't want to use it. And his charge rate is too bad to throw a super build on, and we don't have the Pataras to share to give him a key plus build.
So it's a mix of new difficulties sort of changed him up a bit too much, and your current Pataras available just aren't working.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Well, since we're on the topic of problem children, this offseason, you already know what I'm going to talk about.
He's terrible.
You guys had to pick an FA, and you had a lot of Zenny to drop on him, and you chose Super 17. It's been a bit of a roller coaster.
And we dropped all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster for you guys.
He was supposed to be, he was supposed to be amazing. The idea behind it was, since he, instead of Pataras like launch sport, he uses Pataras like high tension, freeing up other Pataras that we would normally have to put on our fifth character to put on our other characters, which is still working because he is in. Putting on Pataras like high tension and key +1, it makes Pataras like fighting spirit and indignation free for 2 other characters. The problem is he's so bad. We've tried Super +2, didn't work. We've tried Super +1, it didn't work, but it worked in the preseason for 2 weeks, which was actually pretty nice. We tried him on Attack +1, didn't work. Defense didn't work. Attack +2 did not
Can
work.
you guys pinpoint a reason? Is there any
No.
sort of mechanical? No, it's just randomly the AI is not working.
He just doesn't like this team.
And we've tested every single AI there is, default included. None of them do anything.
None of them show enough promise. The ones that did show promise, once extensive testing was done on them, we determined that they were booty.
Oh boy. So what's the plan with him? So far, it doesn't sound like he's going to be your bench yet. You guys are still dedicating time to him.
We can't have 2 benches, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, you can't have a 4-man team.
Yeah. If we had a 4-man team, we'd be in a pretty good spot right now.
So where is he right now on your team? Are you guys going to just test him throughout the first couple weeks, hope he works?
We're just going to keep throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Which is really bad to do, especially when week 1 is against the Gohans.
No
you
kidding.
guys did beat them in the preseason.
We did not fight him in the preseason.
I thought it was them that you... Or maybe it was Muscle.
I don't recall fighting them.
We fought Muscle, we fought
Muscle.
Booze. We won both of our divisionals, funnily enough, in the preseason.
Yeah, my mistake there. It was Muscle, not Gohans. I don't know why I got them mixed up.
Yeah.
All right, let's change topics a little bit. Let's move away from your characters and more onto how you guys handle your lineup and your build creations. So, when it comes to creating lineups, prepping for the next week that's coming up, prepping for a team that you're trying to beat, you guys have a strict pre-planned schedule, or do you just sort of go with the flow when it comes to starting a conversation on what to build and who starts and who closes and who's in the middle?
Andy tries to plan 2 to 3 weeks ahead, but I'm the kind of person that likes to do everything on a case-by-case basis.
2 to 3 weeks ahead. That is quite the forethought for the league.
Yeah. So, I like to. Another thing is, I like to plan for a 5-man team. It is a philosophy that has been in the Blades previously, and it is why we always seem to do amazing in the playoffs. We plan for a 5-man team. Other teams don't. They have to switch up builds for the postseason, and it bites them in the rear, and it doesn't bite us in the rear because we plan for it. I like making it to a point where we have a 4-man team, but if we slipped a 5th person in there, we wouldn't have to move around any Pataras.
Right.
So it's only the can we get into the postseason, and since we're already set up for the postseason, we won't have to do any course correcting by switching Pataras up for players because of the sparsity of Pataras. And we can just hit the ground running. It's worked out really well for the Blades in the past, and it's how we won Season 6.
that is a very different approach than most other teams. I know a lot of teams, and some take this to another level, where they plan several builds and they do minor changes. And when it comes to the playoffs, they might have playoff builds, but they're not the only builds they've used all season, which can, I see the benefits to both, but I see where you're coming from. You get full 15-week testing for the builds you can use in the playoffs. That's very smart.
Well, the problem, we still have to make sure that our characters are reliable in the 4v4. They still need to be good.
Well, obviously.
Because we need to make it into the playoffs.
That is a requirement. You are right.
Yeah, we made it into the playoffs, and so I wasn't here for most of Season 8, but Fail and who was with you at the time? Was it still him?
Yeah, it was still Dimension.
Yeah, so those two made it into the playoffs, and then they hit the ground running. I don't know if they were using the philosophy that me and Dylan and the other guy that I will not mention because of reasons used. Yeah, who shall not be named. So
Voldemort?
Three, maybe.
You said it.
So those three guys, we sort of shared the same philosophy of planning for the playoffs. Worked really well, and we won the league that year. So I think if we follow that philosophy, I kind of like the way Vale's doing it too, but definitely planning for the playoffs is very important.
The biggest problem with planning for the playoffs, as you put it, is it makes us cross bridges that we haven't gotten to yet, and that puts us at an impasse that we can't resolve.
Well, planning for the playoffs puts us at a point where we won't have Patara conflicts, because if our team was good in a 5-on-5 situation, it is absolutely fine in a 4-on-4 conflict.
I understand some of the issues that might arise with this, but it's sort of how do you want to handle this? Be a playoff team or be a team that strives for the highest record? Because say you're playing for the playoffs only. If one character is dedicated to having EL, you're not going to use it on any other character if they're not in.
Yeah.
That being said, speaking about what's your goal, what is your goal? Are you trying to get the best record? Are you trying to get out of South Kai, or is this all a postseason thing for you?
Preferably get out of South Kai, but I think my primary goal is just to get a Tenkaichi Bowl win before the Boos do.
Yeah. Definitely want to get some Season 6 deja vu going on in here.
Yeah, got to beat them to it, because we're the only two teams that have not won 2 bowls yet. So
aside from the teams that don't have any bowl titles.
Yes, I was about to say.
We're the only team without 2 bowl wins out of the ones that have won the bowl. So we got to beat the Boos to our 2nd bowl win.
See, a very high goal. It'd be interesting to see a South Kai team take it all the way.
Yeah, well, it's been done before, but it's usually more reflective of where they end up after next season, where they get put in placements.
Right.
The only team who has not been in either North or East Kai going into the season where they are reigning champions is the Gohans last season, who are going into West Kai this season. Everyone else, after their bowl win, the next season they were in North or East Kai.
Yes, very true. The Gohans are a very special situation that
they really brought it back at the end there.
Yeah, their start of the season was a bit. It was not a good. It didn't properly show what that team is capable of.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But being a playoff team has worked out really well for the Plains. In Season 6, it took us all the way. We knocked off the Boos to be West Kai champions. Hashtag West Kai Best Kai.
Well, yes.
Of course.
Season 6 West Kai? Always
Season
Best
6,
Kai.
the Game Force, the Boos, the Blades, and the Saiyans.
Yeah,
one of the best West Kais ever. And then Season 8, it took us to the semifinals. We knocked off Earth Defenders Week 1. And that was pretty good. Good job, Fail. I wasn't
surprise upset that one, I gotta say.
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it.
Salsa Power Body there.
Salsa Power Body actually working for once.
And then baited them into running 2 Draconic Aura characters. You clever bugger.
A bit of mind
played like a goddamn fiddle.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a bit more of a lighthearted set of questions. Let's make some predictions here. Who's gonna be the best fighter on your team next season, and what's their rank? Let's make this.
This season or next season?
Well, the upcoming season, it hasn't started yet.
Okay, this season.
Can I say who I want it to be?
Yajirobe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yajirobe. My bae.
I would like to see Yajirobe be our number one. However,
he won't be our number one. It's probably going to be Janemba.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put my money on Janemba.
All right, where would you rank him in the league then if he was going to be your number one?
He'll be a top 10.
Top 10 fighter?
He
Definitely top 20, probably.
I don't think he'll be a top 5 because he's consistent, but he's not consistently a destroyer of worlds. He's a really, really good fighter. EL helps with that. So I'd put him at around 50k, and 52k puts you at number 8 on the power rankings last year. So around the 50k mark would put him in the top 10, but not the top 5.
All right, in that case...
I think Trunks has the potential to be a top 5 fighter. It just depends on how much
he did it last season.
No, he was in the top 10. He didn't make it into the top 5 last year.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, he was for the first half, but fell off.
But in a perfect world, Yajirobe's number 1, and if any of you all think that is wrong, you are wrong, because he is God.
All right, if he's number 1, then I have a question. Who's going to go lead on your team? Is it going to be Yajirobe?
Trunks.
I'd like to see Trunks actually pull it off this time.
Instead of getting like 200 points off?
Yeah.
That actually crushed my soul.
I don't think Jane has it in him to go elite. Maybe in the playoffs, but that doesn't count. So if I had to put money on anyone actually going elite, it'd be Trunks, absolutely.
Okay, it seems like that's a pretty consistent answer between the two of you.
Yeah.
Then, since you said Jane's going to be a top 10 fighter and Trunks is going to go elite, where's Yajirobe going to place in the rankings? Where's he going to place?
I think he'll be right inside, if not just outside the top 20.
I think he's top 20 material.
Yeah.
Right.
He's pretty decent. I'd put him at I think where he'll end up with the way he's going and on the ability he is, he'll end up at around an average of 42, 43k this season.
That's good.
So,
that's a big increase from what he used to be.
26k. I remember. I'm glad he's back.
Most improved player. That's what he's going for right now.
Yeah, Janemba got the title last season. Yajirobe's getting it this time.
Absolutely. Maybe Tapion averaged just under 40k last season, so Tapion won't earn it.
Alright, now on the flip side of this, who's gonna derp out for you guys this season? I know last season you guys had the derp of the year with Salsa.
Don't remind me, please.
Who's it gonna be this season?
Do you really need to ask?
The act of signing Super 17 is going to be derp of the season, and you know it. It is absolutely getting the derp of the year award just for signing him. Super 17 isn't getting the award. The Blades are getting the award for signing the Rust Bucket.
I'm with Andy on this one.
We're getting the award, not him, because it was our decision
mistake
to sign
in my career, and that is saying a lot.
Oh God, he's got quite the low expectation for him right now, doesn't he?
Have you seen him?
Unfortunately,
yes. The state of him.
All right.
So many tests.
Let's move away from what's coming next season. Ask, what was your favorite Blades moment in the league overall? It doesn't have to be a match. It can be anything that happened in Discord or before.
It's easy. The best Senzu Bean in league history. The most clutch Senzu Bean.
No kidding.
Ever. Down to half a bar of health. Goku's a half a bar ahead of him. He charges up a full Kamehameha, and Yajirobe pops a Senzu Bean a split second before getting hit by it, going all the way back up to full HP. And he goes on a victory lap because he realized that Senzu Bean just won his team the Season 6 championship.
Can I just say that entire sequence of events, as much as I didn't like the Super Saiyans and their dominance, was heart-crushing.
I can only imagine.
Close.
2-0 the Super Saiyans, Not only that, but being the first team to knock them off in the main season, we 3-0'd them in our record with them that season. It is quite the morale booster when you knock off the best team 3 times without failing in the season.
I thought they won one of those.
No, we faced them week 4 and ended their undefeated streak quite early, and then we went into the bowl and 2-0'd them.
It's been a while since I've rewatched that. Just remember
Regrettably, I wasn't there to watch that.
I was, and it was beautiful.
I can only
Quite
imagine.
a sight to see. Quite a sight to see. I could go, but I could watch it forever. Watch the. Yeah.
Right.
Screw you, Super Saiyans.
Now, it seems like you got some fond memories of the Blades and their previous achievements. What made you join the Blades in specific, though?
I have a bit of a thing for swords.
Do you want the short answer or the long answer?
As long as it's not 30 minutes,
And-
you can give me any answer you want.
All right, I'll give you the short answer. I like swords.
Yeah, we both have a thing for cutty and slashy things. Mainly, my favorite Dragon Ball Z character of all time has always been Tapion. My second has always been Bardock, so you were high on my priority list too, G. So, if that if that means anything, but Tapion has always been my favorite. I've always liked his look. I've loved his voice. I've loved everything about him. Tapion, absolutely. My Janemba, I've always thought looked cool, and Trunks has always been my favorite Super Saiyan out of all of the others, even over Vegeta.
He did have a pretty epic entrance in the show.
Yeah,
No kidding.
My love for Yajirobe has been developed, and as well as for Cyborg Tao has been developed over my time working with the Blades.
The League
Tao
has a certain way of getting people
Making-
interested in uninteresting characters, doesn't it?
Yajirobe, Season 6, Cyborg Tao Season 8 made them 2 of my favorite Dragon Ball characters. I don't know how, but I love those 2 now.
It's kind of funny when you hear people chanting and screaming for characters such as Yajirobe or Devilman, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this.
I am dressed. I show up to an anime con dressed as Yajirobe. Why him? Because I'm dressing as a deity. He's called Yajirobe for a reason.
That's an inside joke and a half.
And no one's gonna get it.
He has earned that title.
He certainly has.
Man has earned that title.
One final question for you guys before we end this. To anyone who is considering joining a team on the forums, what argument do you make for the Blades? For them to join the Blades? If any.
I mean, if you like swords, this is obviously the team for you, and everybody who joins gets a free Senzu Bean, because, I mean, we've got this massive backlog, and Yajirobe can't use them anymore, so we're just giving them out like hotcakes.
Yeah. Everyone has a voice on the Blades. Discussions always involve the whole team.
I make sure of that.
Yeah. He always hears both sides. The coach doesn't veto decisions a lot.
Nope, I'm a very reasonable person.
He hears everyone out. He's willing to consider anything. So it doesn't matter if you're a 2-week rookie or you're a veteran of the league. He hears everyone out. He's honest, and he's a very calm person. He doesn't have a temper at all. He's really
approachable.
He may have been appointed coach, but I don't want him to step down. He is honestly one of the best coaches in the league. But
that's some very high praise from the supporter to the coach. And of course, if you like swords, as these 2 did, that's also another reason you'd be in the group with them. Right. That's everything. If you guys have nothing left to say, we can say goodbye.
You're gonna lose, Booze.
Hashtag Season 6 Deja Vu.
Yep, no Season 2 deja vu for you. Bye-bye, Yubel.